What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Nice seeing everybody's faces. Clarissa, Dennis, nice seeing you guys. I don't know if you guys' audio's on, but welcome, welcome. Looks like quite a few people are coming in. Clarissa, how are you doing? It's a pleasure seeing you. Jay, I see you came in as well. That's awesome. How you doing, Clarissa?
A little messy this morning. It's been a crazy morning.
Hopefully productive too, right?
Productive and messy.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, Clarissa, I'm glad you're able to jump in. Jay, nice seeing you as well. I know you and Nick were able to touch base as well, but how are you doing, Jay?
Christian, where are the shades? Where's the outdoor? Come on, that was like I was so jealous.
I know. Here's my shades. I got them right here if you want me to put them on. Well, awesome. Hey, I'm glad you're able to jump in.
Yeah,
Nick,
no
I saw you came in as well, which is awesome. Dennis, welcome, man. How you been, Dennis?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I certainly can. How you doing,
hear
man?
me? Oh fuck! Sorry, excuse my French. I'm trying to set this up.
No worries, no worries. Well, welcome.
Did you hear
Dennis.
me?
Yes, we
Yes.
all can hear you.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry for my. I'm sorry. I'm just on the small iPad at the moment. Please
No
forgive
worries.
me.
No worries. Well, hey, I'm glad you're able to jump in as well. Guys, we've got a really special guest. I know some people, they email me, they're going to be running a little bit late, but they are going to be jumping in later, but we'll just let them come in and flow in and out. But some of you guys have been able to be introduced to Nick, which is just a really fun friend of mine. We actually met a while back, and we just connected on LinkedIn. I loved what he's got going on in the post side of things, and I actually we just jumped on a 15-minute phone call, and he was just telling me his vision of what's going on, where he's what he's doing, and just the people he's been able to connect with, and he's been able to open up some awesome doors for me. Obviously, many of you guys probably read his bio, so I don't need to go through the whole thing, but I really just want to get to value base and get Nick on today. But just a few things. He's been featured in Forbes, Gary V. He's worked with David Meltzer as well. He's done just incredible things. He's generated like $2 billion in client results, and just very fun guy, but just very humbled dude as well. So without further ado, I will bring Nick, my man, to the table. I appreciate it, Nick. Thanks so much, man.
You bet. What's up? Hey, everybody, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Good to see y'all. How's everybody doing?
You're good.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, Christian, it's good to see you, of course, man. I appreciate it a ton, and just big love to you and the fam. And glad that we're not on Slack or text messaging, and we're right here together, man. So you've just been such an incredible human being, and I appreciate you just being open-hearted and available and helpful, and just being a connective tissue, I think, for vision has been amazing. So big love to you, man, and appreciate that. And Jay, it's good to see you again, man. How's things going?
All good, man. All good. It's great to see you.
You
We did
too,
ours
man.
first on the phone.
Yes, that's true.
I was wondering, like, who is this guy?
That's awesome. Yes, sir. And Jay is a genius. For those of you who haven't got a chance to learn from him, dear Lord, I'll just say that.
Thank you.
It's really good to see you, man. And thanks again for your insights and contribution into my life and through your work. And it's a lot of really intense work. And if you want someone really smart in your business, Jay went to the Wharton School. For me, that was like the first tip of the hat. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then we go from there. And, truly, I think in business, some of us, I find myself more so on the creative side. And the reason why I'm really good at solving big problems is because I don't see a box. And that's wonderful when you're helping people achieve results. The challenge can come in, and it shows up in the psychology principle of having rather lower scores in industriousness. And it's not about work ethic, it's about system, processes, structure. And so the phenomenal people that I've learned from, and Jay is one of them in this category of helping people who are true, like highly capable visionaries, kind of lay the tracks on the bullet train. Without the tracks, you're going off in the ocean. And at the same time, the bullet train has the ability to operate. And that's what I've learned from you, Jay. So I appreciate you being here, man, and spend some time with us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, hey guys, listen, really simple. I'm here to have a conversation with you guys, here to spend some time with you. I like to start these sessions off in a really simple way. First and foremost, about learning a little bit about each of you, what you have going on in the world. I have a core thesis of life that comes to business, and that's that relationships are rocket ships. Relationships are rocket ships. And I would not be here today. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, of people who have believed in me, given me opportunity, getting the opportunity to work with Fortune 500 companies. Sometimes I'm in awe and wonder today of like, how the heck did that happen? Like I was a 26, 27-year-old kid and they're trusting me with $1 billion, $2 billion worth of products to manage. That seems crazy to me. Now I'm looking back, I'm 35 going like, dang, they were risk takers, like more so than I would actually give corporate America credit for. But it was a great decision for them because a lot of really incredible waves were able to come from that. So I always credit back to, the perceived success of today is come from, a father who has an 8th grade education, and my mother grew up on welfare. I was put in a position very early in life to learn about more of the spiritual things of life and the deeper meaning of life that I think launched me in a trajectory of serving and not selling, of being somebody of contribution and connection and not of conversion. Those words don't really do it for me. But when it's about contribution, when it's about helping others, it's the old Zig Ziglar idea. If you help other people get what they want, they'll join you on your mission of helping you accomplish what you want. And that's just how I live my life in every facet, in every arena. So I'm truly here to be of contribution, connection, service, whatever you guys need, whatever you have you're up against the wall on right now. Let me just say, this is your time to make audacious asks. I've learned the lesson the hard way, the biblical truth from the good book of you don't have it because you're not asking for it. And part of my story, my father went from being a street pharmacist from 13 to 30 years old and ended up becoming a pastor. I grew up as a pastor's kid, and early memories of sleeping under pews at midnight during, these incredible movements with incredible speakers. And my life it's been incredible. It's been positioned by loyalists and amazing people who have given me permission early. I also was never afraid to ask because I didn't see the box. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't understand, hey, my question wasn't what can I get from you? It was how can I serve? How can I help? And that created just incredible pathways. But I'm giving you guys the permission, the audacity today to be like, hey, in life or business, this is my simple frame for the question. What's the number one thing that you're facing right now? Challenge, obstacle, no matter what it might be. I want to get a feel from the room. And either I'll choose to go down the lane of hot seats and we'll have some conversation. We can all help each other out. Or on the other side, I'll teach you guys some frameworks that I think would be helpful for you to overcome whatever the thing is that's on your mind right now. How many of you all are in transition right now between something old and something new? Just by a show of hands. Awesome. Good to know. So let's go through and talk about this. The transition question is important. I'll lead to that towards the end as to why. But let's just go through. I just want to hear what's on your mind. What are you up to? What's your name? What do you do? What are you up to? And you can talk about that on a goals basis. And then what's the number one thing stand in your way of getting that? Let's talk about it. And then we'll go into frameworks or we'll do hot seats. So Clarissa, let's start with you. Then we'll go to Jay, Dennis, and then Angela.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay. I think I'm unmuted. So Clarissa Bird, I'm the founder and the CEO of In the Limelight Media. This is it consists of video, television, podcast, a digital magazine. I help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs promote their businesses with my 7-touch system. We get you out on the road from Amazon Fire, Apple TV, 100 other smart TV apps. I run a mastermind. The mastermind is the In the Limelight Blast Her Mind. So it's mostly for women. My book right now is in Barnes & Noble, and it's called The Self-Esteem Regime. So, I've got a little bit more of a sensitive edge toward women, their self-esteem, and certainly girls as well. The book will drop in Italy at the end of the year. Angela, the book drops on the 11th of November in Italy, where I lived for 30 years. So that kind of is the reason we'll be dropping there first. So the book has been taking up a lot of time as far as, traveling the country and doing book signings. So I'm a little bit, I think and then I have that. I also take entrepreneurs to Italy. So VIP entrepreneurs, we go and we meet Pagani, Lamborghini, the Ferragamos, behind the scenes of the Vatican, and like a real VIP kind of trip to Italy. So I'm working on that for October. And then I'm doing a women's event at the beginning of next year. It's called the Global Women's Event. So time is definitely a big deal for me. And the other thing is, help. Being able to look for sponsors that will help me to afford the kind of help that I need in order to move forward. So for various things.
Got it. Totally understand. Yeah, you have a lot on your plate. That was my first thought.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's why my hair looks like this.
No, you're fine.
Where I took a shower, I just didn't get a chance.
Look at mine. I mean, come on, right? Look at this.
Okay.
No, I love it. I love it. And I want to lean into that with you here. That's going to be a fun kind of Q&A process on that. And I want to give you a concept and a framework that you might be able to dig into that I think would be really helpful. What I found is that I don't have to create the best frameworks in the world. I need to find the people who create them, who are engineers, mechanics in their mind, creators, and then I attach people to those things. And so I have some ideas that I think are going to be really amazing for you that I could share you that I think are going to help. And I want to ask you one last question, and then we're going to go to Jay, but I'm taking notes, so I'm writing it down. We're going to come back to it.
Right.
So what's one big win that you've had in the last 2 weeks?
One big win for me in the last 2 weeks is completely off topic and off subject and top secret, Angela, is that I have been asked to run for senator for foreign affairs for Italy. So not only is that's obviously it's a great honor, and certainly would take everything I just said kind of off my plate for a while, as most of August and September would be about campaigning, and taking a look at that very seriously. The other thing would be in the last month, I was also knighted, which was kind of cool. So that is just kind of another really great honor. And that was lots of fun that we could talk about another time. But, it's these are huge decisions to make. If I don't go toward the senatorship, then I'll stay in what I've just explained to you, but with the one step up being creating my own network. I'm actually going to Miami this weekend, and we'll be speaking to the Lightcast, who is, they create, a network for, my In the Limelight TV is housed on another network. I want to create my own network. So there's a lot going on, Nick. I think a huge amount going on. So in the last 2 weeks, I would assume that, for me, it's just the honor of being asked to step into a pretty important role. I'm not a politician. I've never really been a politician, but the idea is, I'm ruminating.
Yeah, it's funny, not a politician, but a problem solver. And we need more of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, let's give it up for Clarissa. That's incredible. Yay! And I think the reason why I love stopping to celebrate is because
thank you.
It's amazing to reflect and go look at all the stuff you've done just in the last 2 weeks or the last month. I mean, you got knighted, for God's sake. And I think sometimes we can get tangled in the doing, and it's just so helpful to zoom out. Plus just the power of being seen and appreciated. Yeah. And for me, I'm dying. I'm I want to know more of that story, especially because you're a writer. I'm I need the whole chapter. Yeah, cool. It's incredible.
It's been fun. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. We're going to come back to your question around or a process that might help you specifically on the multiplication of time. So we'll come back to that. It's huge. Thank you. All right, Jay, let's jump to you. Then we'll go Dennis, Angela, and then Dr. Brian. What's up, Dr. Brian?
Hey, good to see you.
You too, brother.
All right. Jay Kingley with Centricity. What we do is we work with people who provide expertise as a service, and we help them crush the marketing and sales for their business. So we don't work with products or SaaS or retail or e-commerce. The biggest difference when you're selling expertise versus all those other types of businesses, there's no features, functions, and benefits, which is what they have. And there's no, your challenge is there's a big knowledge gap because you're selling expertise. That means you have it in your clients, the people you're trying to reach doesn't. And there are all sorts of implications. Chief among them is they have no idea how to evaluate you. They have no idea if you're telling them the truth or you're taking them on a ride. And so you have to really think carefully about how you do that throughout your marketing and sales process. So that in a nutshell is what I do. In terms of a challenge, Nick, is that
Yeah, obstacle or opportunity. Yep.
Yeah. So I think I struggle with an issue that I'm sure a lot of us struggle with, which is the whole interpersonal relationship and dynamics. And specifically, I have a business partner. We've been together for 17 years. And, we have some other people on our staff. And, I just find that it can be very challenging. And sometimes I think that if I was better able to manage those dynamics, that would take away a lot of the constraints that hold us back. And so that I think is probably the biggest obstacle. In terms of the biggest wins, I will give two: one professional, one personal. Thank
Perfect.
you, Clarissa, for being okay to talk about the personal side. We just rolled out a premium tier of service, and in the beginning it's goods on paper, but how do you get comfortable positioning it and actually delivering it, getting people to see the value? And I would say over the last 2 weeks we've had a big uptake and people who are like, I really want this. And so there's that sense of accomplishment that we put it out there and we figured out how to actually make it happen. And, on the personal side, I have been divorced for 5 years, and I now have my person. And
Awesome. Wow.
could not be happier. Of course, I don't deserve her, but, she makes life so worthwhile and gives such balance to what it is that I do.
Oh, hold on. I need to get a tissue. I'll be right back. God, Jay, that was so great. Thank you for giving me hope.
See that?
Yeah. So anyway, thank you.
Incredible. Thank you, Jay. Let's give it up for Jay. Dang. Wow. Congratulations, first of all.
Thanks.
It's amazing, man. And I know what the opposite side of that looks like through experience I've had of my own, and it's really incredible. So congratulations, it's a huge win. And let's come back around to the conversation around culture and people. Those dynamics are quite interesting, and I definitely have a couple people that you need to talk to who have gotten through those seasons. I've gone through those seasons as well. But let's see what we can turn up about it and come back around to it. So
Super.
Thank you for sharing, man. I love it. All right, Dennis.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, brother. Got you.
Fine. So my name's Dennis, and I'm launching a program that's for film and video professionals who are tired of the feast and famine roller coaster, how they can use their current skills to become expert business storytellers and help businesses market and sell their products and services while building a profitable business that they're in control of.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. Launching I've had a few changes and iterations over time. I'd say the biggest change I've had over the last 24 months was originally I was focusing on people who were business owners. And I realized business owners know they need to do it, but don't want to learn how to do it because it's too much work. Then It's like, oh, okay. So actually, it's people who were, in their 40s, 50s, transitioning. So I arranged and I interviewed 17 people for a podcast show over 8 weeks. And I realized that I'm a different person to you. A lot of people are talking about working for someone they don't like, being told what to do, and I've never done that. I've always been a freelancer, worked for myself. I wouldn't tolerate any of that. So I was just I learned that actually you're a very different kind of person. And then I was thinking, well, actually, who do I know? It's creatives. And I was speaking to someone, and they said that's too broad still. And I went, you're right. I know film and video professionals because that's what I've been for the last 20 plus years. And I understand all the problems. I don't have to second guess it. And I've actually been through all the journeys that one was going through. So my main target are 2 types of people off the top of my head. Yeah. Those who are 40 and 50 plus, been working in the industry, and were like, I'm too old for this. It's a young person's game, but I don't have any other skills. What can I do? So that's my first target. My second target, there's a lot of people who are working in the industry, but they have to have another job to supplement their income because it's the feast and famine roller coaster. So this enables you to use your current skills and your love of storytelling, but package it in a different way where you're in control. And the last person, which kind of covers both in a way, are those who want to put their energy and time working on their own projects. So that means they're able to separate me bringing income in so I can work on my own projects and I have the time to do that. So I'm launching the first cohort in about 8 to 10 weeks time. I'm very excited about it. I'll talk about a win and then I'll talk about my question or challenge. Yeah. So I'll do it in the other order. I'd say a win for me over the last few weeks has been, I've been trying to shoehorn everything into one platform. And then I realized, why am I doing that? It doesn't work. I'm always trying to work things out how it works. So I made the decision that, hey, I'm going to use 4 separate tools and that's how I'm going to use it. So that allows me to have a platform to deliver my program. One that will be for accountability, one which will be the forum or community. And I'm also want to play with asynchronous video as a way of communicating. And the final thing I'd like to say that I don't see it as a course. This is about an implementation program. So the whole idea is I've created a package. What I love is that you talk about frameworks. I'm all about frameworks. I've brought together all this copywriting, storytelling frameworks. I've tweaked them all. They're all in a platform where everyone goes to the platform. You write, you remember what it writes for you so you can come back on the same browser, you send it to yourself. So the whole idea is I want students who come from my program to be the rock star for their clients and be their client's best investment. Now, my biggest challenge right now is who's. I know who my who's are, is connecting with the who's. I want to connect with people who already have access to that audience already, full stop. And me present the offer and people who are interested will gravitate towards it. Now, I think one of the things I want to get across is many people who are in the profession have spent hundreds of thousands on education. So that's my audience. You've already spent money. How's it working for you? You could have spent 20K, 30K, 200K. People who are going to some of the getting masters in film are spending 300K for a job that pays them 30K a year. This is a way that you can actually charge good money because you are blowing people away. So my question is getting my who's, going in front of their audience, and of course, part of getting in front of my who's, I'm going to give them a little commission. So that's part how I see it as the incentive for people who don't know me, but they can see from myself, my credentials, that I have lived it, I've walked it, I've had the highs and lows. I can talk to you about tech stuff as well as all the other stuff. So I don't have any problems of people in the world thinking I'm one of them. So it's about how can I get this out to the world far and wide? Hope that makes sense.
Awesome. Yes, 100%. I love it, dude. Let's just give it up for Dennis real quick before I jump in. where you're at in this journey, in addition to how you show up, I just want you to understand that people are going to hire you for your energy. Like, I get such a positive feeling about you as a human being that's an unseen superpower, because we can be in a room of 1,000 people, we can see everybody else, but we can't see ourselves, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you have so many talents, so many abilities, and I know where that comes from. You have reached mastery in a lot of different things. And sometimes the closer we are to the detail of the how, the more muddy the water gets. And so there's kind of like, there's duality in where you're at right now. And I've experienced this a lot. I have so many letters after my name of like highly sensitive, highly gifted, highly creative, you know, and God knows what else from all these therapists I've been seeing for years. Incredibly high functioning in what I do in business. And it's also comes from a place of like, I don't see the same things other people see, and I don't solve problems the same way that other people solve problems typically. So you have, I can just feel that there's a lot of commonality in us in that. I think 2 forms of direction for you, and I'm just going to shoot straight on this to challenge some ideas and also give some advice. So do I have permission to speak into your life before I just jump in? Is that okay?
For me, you got permission. Yeah. Go on.
All right, cool, man. I always just ask, you know, before I get into any detail. So if you were going to go do a project right now, like let's say that you were going to do like hey, I'm going to go work with, you know, a company, an influencer or whatever. How much are you going to charge if you're doing it?
Doing what specifically?
So you said that your background, your hard skill is specifically in video production and cinematography.
Film. I wouldn't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore for anyone. I decided no, I don't do that at all. Oh, the other thing is I also teach BA and MA filmmakers. I teach the next generation of filmmakers how to tell stories in drama, post-production editing. So I teach people how to do storytelling. So that's my side gig as well. Sorry.
No. Did you guys all notice the clarity of what he said when I triggered a different thought? Did you notice the clarity? Because I'm teaching the next generation of. Did you guys see that? That's the thing right there, Dennis. And I went the opposite direction on purpose because I wanted to see what you were going to say. That's the clarity that I was looking for the whole time that you were explaining where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we're associating with like, here's what I do, and or you're inserting the word the, right? We've heard about this, like the number one or whatever. You have a category to own of your own. Let me say it this way. You're not a leader of a unit. You're not a leader of a state. You're a leader of a nation. You have the capacity for that. And what I'm sensing right now is being an interruption in your life in a positive way to just shine the light back to you and be like, that's your capacity. And at the same time, while it is absolutely strategically smart to go the route of people who already have those audiences and all of those things, I actually think that you could do that on your own. And I would challenge you to build your own audience of those people. Because once they get a taste of who you are and what you know, it is absolutely irresistible. Absolutely irresistible. And once you have it locked down to the point of where you're like, I'm teaching the next generation of filmmakers, like how to build a highly profitable, fulfilling business. Now you own that market. And people are going to come to you just for that one thing. And when you own that and you know it and you started scaling it and then you add the fire on top, my concern is, I'm like, if I was in that position, because I know people in that field, my sensitivity is it's not clear enough for me to understand what I'm going to be offering to my audience. I like you. I'm like, you're endearing to me. Like, I want to go hang out with you. Yet at the same time, it's not clear enough for me to understand what's really going on and what you're really doing. So that's like the push-pull. And so I'll give you a concept visually. Christian, if I don't have, I don't have screen share. If you could open that up really quick. And I just want to share this for the group. In fact, Steve Brossman is the one who showed me this, and I'm going to give an adaptive version. I'm really good at taking complex things and making them incredibly simple. So I'm going to show you this visual really quick. And Steve Brossman's a friend of Christian's. So this is selling the intangible, which at the same time, Jay knows a lot about this as well, but I want to just give you something that will serve you today, right here in this moment. So I learned this. You're welcome. So I learned this from Steve, this 3-part structure. So you have you, okay? And in you have your own unique abilities, right? So this is like if you were to speak on a stage, if you were to teach on a topic, if I was like, hey, I'll bring you out with David Meltzner, we'll go hang out with him. We got to have it super tight as far as what you're looking to do, what you want. When you're around the right people, you're asked to be audacious, right? So of course they're thinking, what's in it for me? The really high thinkers think, how can you help me complete my vision? How can you be a part of my vision? How can you be a multiplier of what I'm setting out to do with intention? So you're attaching basically your unique expertise to something that's virtue-based and not quantitative in value. This is interesting, but just walk with me for a second, okay? So this is like virtues and skills, and like basically, let's just call it authority, okay? So this is like, why am I going to trust you? You got good energy, so that hits on the virtue side. The skills are like, here's what you've been able to do, and you can say it really quick. Like Christian's like, this guy's managed like $2 billion worth of products. He just throws it out there, but that changes the conversation, right? Then over here, you have this person, you have their dream outcome. So in your world, you're teaching the next generation of filmmakers. So teach, right? So we know under you, part of your skills is you're a teacher, right? And so there's an establishment there that everything you teach in frameworks, whenever you're teaching in frameworks, the authority increases by, the value goes up about 40% if they're going to buy from you. It's going to go up 40%. In addition, the absorbing the information is also much higher, which gets them to see the conceptual idea. So the dream outcome, what is the dream outcome of these people this next generation of filmmakers? What is the dream outcome that you want to make for them? Is it to build a highly profitable, highly fulfilling personal brand business?
Oh, you're asking me the question?
Yeah.
Well, now you're saying the next generation of filmmakers, that changes everything. Now, because I do teach them, they're young. They felt no pain. This is the thing. I know I said that. They haven't felt pain. I've just finished with a group of BAs. I'm very real with them. They like, I'm pretty good. And they like me as well, but I keep it very real as well. But they have not felt pain of what it's like to work on projects where it's not fun, pain of working on great projects, which are beautiful and it's pleasure, but the pain of the dip. So that's why originally I was thinking of that age group. And I realized they don't know what they don't know yet. It's just like when I studied it, when you're in your 20s, everything's possible. And you achieve amazing things. But as you get older and the reality of life, the industry, if you think about it, last year, there was nearly a strike in Hollywood. And what was the strike about? People wanted an extra hour from the time of saying, right, that's the end of the day to the next day. So they could have time to spend with their family and get some sleep. And they wanted to get extra money. So someone couldn't say, look, we're not going to have lunch right now. We're going to continue shooting.
Yep.
But the industry was like, well, no, it's working for us. We're all right. And it took for going for a strike for years for people to change that. So I love the idea of the next generation of, I'm thinking in terms of the age bracket, because I was thinking that they feel a bit young in that thing, but I love the next generation of. I think that's brilliant because I actually use that, but I use that in the context of the younger audience.
Perfect. So that's who you mentor, okay? Because guess what? In 10 years, they're going to buy from you.
Yeah, exactly.
So play the long game there. Okay, so let's go to the short game. So who are the people that you want to work with today? So I'm just going to kind of pocket this over here on the side. So then you said, folks who are in their 40s and 50s, right? Who have been in the industry. So what's their dream?
I'd say people who have had 10 plus years in the industry. Okay. So their dreams would be, I'll break them into different sections. So I've kind of put 10 plus years because I think that's good enough. So you could be 30. Yeah. So you've been there. A lot of people get into this because they feel they have something inside that they want to tell. And then it becomes how you make your living. And then you start doing work that is about paying the bills. And then the dream slightly erodes. That's one side. Yeah. The other side is you're doing it, you love it, it's really grueling, you know, you're going for 16, 18-hour days, and you get to a point where it's like, it's quite challenging right now. The other challenge is video. When I studied film, the only way you could get your hand on gear was if you studied film. It was so expensive. You know, I'm a little bit older than I look, you know. Nowadays, we have iPhones. So you're competing with someone who says, why do I need you? Because I have an iPhone and that's really good. Yeah.
But Dennis, I'm going to push on this on purpose. I'm going to interrupt you because I want to interrupt the thought pattern intentionally.
Please.
What is the dream outcome for you? Let's start there. What is your dream outcome?
My dream outcome is that I help people like me build the life that they desire, to have full control over it, have the freedom that they choose, and they can choose what they want to work on and who they want to work with. That's my dream outcome. That's success to me, is enabling people to find what they want, which is being in control and having choice.
I'm going to give you a gift from one of my mentors. Okay. So you want to make more money, watch, help more people, and have more fun, or have fun doing it. Right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's the happiness equation, exactly right? Of like our work.
Yeah.
So that's your dream outcome. Now there's a gap in the middle, clearly, because we haven't filled out a box yet. And I'm going to go back to the concept, and I want to encourage you, really, really, really drive in hard to what the dream outcome is for the people that you want to serve. The reason why this process is not clear yet, like I can help you get anywhere you want. I'll introduce you to everybody that I know in 2 seconds. So as long as there's a benefit for you, a benefit for them and the people that they serve, and or the people that you serve. The reality is it has to be unbelievably clear about what the dream outcome is of where they want to be. This is what Steve's framework taught me. So I'm going to go over to the right. So over here is classically the gap. And this is also the system, right? So if you look at like, okay, here's you and here's your dream outcome. The gap is if you could build a bigger audience with those people that you want to help, bigger, more engaged audience, if you could drive more sales and revenue, and if you, in addition, could develop deeper relationships with the people that you want to serve. So sorry about my spelling. I'm just typing really quickly. Do you feel, or let me just ask you the question. If you had the clarity on your virtues, your skills, the authority that you have, so you were like rock star positioning, let's think of it that way. Then we go to like the second step, which is the gap. So if you have rock star positioning so that you could build a bigger audience, have more sales and revenue, and have deeper relationships with the people that you want to serve, do you then believe that you would make more money, help more people, and have more fun?
Oh, without doubt.
Yes. So everybody see that? Bam. Okay. Now, last question. AIV. This is the assumed and or assumptive integrated value. So let's just say that I said, hey, let's do this. And in 90 days, if this was solved for you in the next 12 months, how is that the implementation of you having all that clarity, having everything that you need to win? How much money do you think you could make?
Oh, wow, 7 figures easy.
Perfect. You guys see this here? Now, without thinking about how you would get the money, because most of us think of like, shit, I'd rob a bank, whatever I'd have to do, right? The assumed integrated value is $1 million, let's just say, in 12 months. And that's probably if some of that may be recurring, whatever. Now, when I go back to, okay, here's the question. Would it make sense for us at this point to implement a bigger audience, generating more revenue and developing deeper relationships with the people you want to work with? Would it make sense for us to implement that sooner rather than later?
Sooner.
Yeah, right? Like, why the hell not? So we stay in rapport and we go like, sweet. So here's the deal. If we just look at simply it's $1 million to do it, or $1 million in value, and I go like, it's $100K to do it over 12 months, would you trade $1 for $10?
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
Why not?
You wouldn't. Yeah.
So that would be a closed 6-figure deal right there, just by going through the exercise. And most people didn't even know that we were in the process of enrollment. Those who build products knew. They probably knew where I was going the whole time. But we were so much in not selling you, and we weren't selling the box. We were selling the gap.
Mm-hmm.
And attaching you to the dream outcome is the emotive line, 99% of enrollment. And the 1% was the logic, which is easy. If I had a bigger audience, I had more sales and revenue, and I had deeper relationships, I definitely would get to where I want to go. Great. But it makes sense to do it sooner rather than later. Yes. Knowing the AIV, which is the logic score, all of a sudden, boom. I talked to Steve on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, I sold a $400,000 deal using this. And I emailed him right away and I was like, dude, what have you done to me? Because I've been building products for a really long time, but what he was able to do was make the process really simple. So here's the deal. And this is what's a great little exercise and why I wanted to showcase this. And I learned this from him. This is exactly what you need to have to be able to pitch in 5 minutes on a screen share to anyone who you want to work with. And to anyone, by the way, who wants to work with you, be it in the capacity of making introductions to their audience or whatever. Like, it's really simple. And you might ask them and start with them and go like, well, where are you at? What do you want? That's the mode of service, right? Of like, well, where are you at? And you just show them the little model and go like, well, sweet. But if I could help you do this, this, and this with what I know to do, is there value in that? Absolutely. Great. What's the assumed integrated value? I don't know. She's just on affiliate, 250K. Great. Would it make sense for us to get started sooner rather than later doing this? Like, we could do an affiliate deal or whatever. Yeah, let's do it. Sweet. Then you're done. Sales done. And I don't even call it sales. I just call it's collaboration. It's enrollment, right? So I want you to do this exercise for yourself. And I want you to go through this process. And I want you to figure out, you have it for you now. I want you to create it for the people that you serve, the 30 to 50. And go quiz them. Pull this up on a screen and literally quiz them and ask them, find your ideal clients and say, where are you at? What are your hard skills? What's your dream outcome? What do you want? And then the gap is, guess what? You sold the system without even selling the system. They're not asking you how the widgets work. Stay out of the weeds.
Yeah.
And just focus on just the 3-step process. If you thought of like weight loss, what are the 3 things in weight loss? Like the three little things, right? Exercise, nutrition, and accountability. It doesn't matter what it is. And I consulted with weight loss companies doing $60 million a year. It's the same thing every single time. So for me, guess what my same thing is every single time? No matter what I'm doing, I'm helping build a bigger audience, driving more sales and revenue, and having deeper relationships with people they want to serve. Every freaking time. Every single time. So you probably have your 1, 2, 3. You just got to think about really practically to think about like, what is it? And use exercise as an example. Like, it's so clear. If you eat right, if you exercise, and if you have accountability, you're going to win. That's all they need to know about the how. Is this helpful for everybody, including for you, Dennis?
Immensely helpful. Yes. Thank you so much. It's kind of just given clarity there. And thing is, I'm supremely confident in what I'm offering and the outcome. If people put the effort in, what they will get. And this has really helped me just kind of be super clear. I'm at the point of working out how am I going to connect and communicate with people in a way. So this is kind of excellent. And if it wasn't me and I was watching someone else, this would be highly useful as well, because it gets you to challenge. It's it's the dream outcome, and what's the gap. It doesn't matter. You've used Alpha as an example. You've your own 3 dream outcomes. So I think it's really useful, irrespective of what anyone's kind of doing, and it ties into my level of frameworks as well.
There you go, man. And it's really that simple. Remember, clarity is power. And if you clarify, you can simplify. We know people don't buy when they're confused, right? So when you can clarify, you can simplify. When you can simplify, you can multiply. Your path to multiplication, and the reason why I wanted to just hit on this right now is because you're a great human being. You deserve. It's plain wrong that you don't have what's needed so that you can be successful. Do you see what I'm saying? And success to you is wildly extravagant and adventurous and exciting. And so, like, if I can be a shortcut, all day. All right. And whatever you need, you let me know, however I can help you.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and your clarity. And it's really good to be able to, I think a lot of people, we're here and it takes someone from the outside to say, great, this, and it just really helps you. And it's like a lot of times it's like, you already know this, but I'm reminding you that you already knew it. And I'm the very person that's there to reflect that mirror, because as you says, you can't see your own stuff. So I really appreciate everything that you said as well, because, you know, sometimes we don't appreciate our secret sauce, as it were, but we can see it in others.
Totally.
Wonderful, Nick.
Absolutely,
Thank you
man.
so much.
You're so welcome, my man. Let's give it up for Dennis. That's so fun. Woo! So to give you guys a concept and an idea, and then we're going to keep moving. So I do like fractional CMO stuff with some amazing companies. I do a lot of speaking and doing expert trainings and things, but I run masterminds, and inside the masterminds, this is a prime example. I didn't want Dennis to leave without something I knew I could give him in a 10-minute sprint that would absolutely change his game. Like immediately. I know he'll go implement this in the next 24 hours. It's game over. Like he's going to have the clarity he needs to win. So inside the masterminds, that's what we do. I'm like, everybody else is farming information, whether it's sales tactics, frameworks, concepts around personal branding. I have the #1 personal branding like expert on the planet who's in my mastermind. So little things like this would pop up. This happened to be from Steve, so it's someone different. But you know, the whole concept around a highly profitable, fulfilling personal brand business is Mike Kim's book, You Are the Brand. And it has tons of incredible frameworks, and he's been my coach for 6 years. You know you're doing something right when your business coach joins your mastermind with the people that you attract. But whether it's David Meltzer, whether it's Mike Kim or Lauren Johnson, who's the mindset coach of the New York Yankees, they're all bringing in these unique frameworks and abilities to actually invest in you, which to me is like $1 million worth of coaching every year. So I'm like, all of these people are running $1 million businesses. They all charge 6 figures for whatever they do. Why the heck would I have like an official business coach only that I'm paying 50 to 100K a year? And I used to be a business coach. And I'm like, yikes, this model doesn't work for me so well anymore, because I was surrounded by tribes of incredible leaders, and they were open and they had the transparency to share their best stuff and the stuff they were learning. And so this is like relationships or rocket ships. Absolutely. And even that much more intense when the transparency exists, because there's so much common bond around everybody who's up to something. They're doing something great. Does that make sense? Awesome. Angela, let's go ahead and jump to you. And dude, we're gonna have to do this again. I'm happy to hang out for a few extra minutes as well, but I'm just learning about all of you and wanted to dig into to Dennis's opportunity there quick, but there's lots to chat about. So Angela, go ahead.
Bene, buongiorno. So my name is Angela Santi. I'm Italian, as you can tell from the accent, and I like to define myself the Dolce Vita leadership and lifestyle consultant, empowering rebellious and ambitious business leaders worldwide to live their lives and lead their business La Dolce Vita way, so that they can be resilient, focused, and lighthearted, and have fun while they are working and leading and growing their business. So who I like to work with, I've already said something. I like to work with, I don't want to work with coaches and consultants unless the consultants are like M&A, tech, finance, or whatever. And I like to work with brick and mortar business owners, because I have a very, very strong corporate background in the automotive business. So I like the hard stuff. So where I am now, what I'm celebrating, having navigated a very, very difficult period of my life, because I had a very, very ill dad who recently passed away. So over the past year and a half, as I was expanding my business, I was also taking care of my dad and of a team of 6 people at home to take care of him. So looking back, I was surprised about the results that I have, even though they are not the results that I wanted to see now. But of course, I prioritize first I prioritize myself, him, the family, and then the business. So now I'm in my holiday house in the Alps, and I will be here on vacation. So I interrupted my vacation for a great reason. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
And I will be on vacation until September. So while I'm here, I will recharge, reset, and also get inspired, because what I have in my pocket for, or in my map for the next quarter, is to grow my business, create more leads. And I have a few events in mind, so I need like to be in the middle of nature, just to have ideas and have my team work on it while I'm on holidays. So my challenge is leads gen at the moment, and getting in front of my right audience, because the majority of my colleagues are working with the audience that I'm not interested in. So I want to find like a lot of speaking gigs that take me in front of the kind of people that I'm interested in.
Yep. Awesome.
Did I forget something?
Oh no, you're fine. I'm taking notes, and you are so vibrant. Like as soon as you started talking, I was like, all right, she's a star. So speaking gigs. Okay, cool. And the lead gen side, can you remind me again of, and I recall you talking around M&A, some fintech stuff. Who's the ideal audience? Like if you were to explain to me your ideal audience, who is that exactly again? Remind me.
My ideal audience are millennials and X-gens who are impact driven. They want to change the world. They want to create products or services that are changing the world. Say tech, applied tech, all those people that are creating apps, AI things, like chemical products, nanotechnologies, or B Corps are my people. Engineers, I love working with engineers because they are super structured and learn very easy. You just give them homework and they do, and they're done.
Yep, it's true. It's absolutely true. We have a similar avatar in the fractional CMO work that I do, or our brand officer work that I do. I always look for guys or gals who are in this is like my ideal audience when looking in reflection, who have an investor mind, who are in their 40s to 40 to 55, who have families, who have a faith background. Like I figured out, not through planning, but through hindsight, who those ideal people are. And I figured it out by asking myself the question, who did I enjoy working with the most? Who gave me the least amount of, bull crap? Who, and in addition, who paid the most? And then who got the final end product that made the most amount of difference? Those three factors, it came down to the same exact personality profile every single time. And so folks like us, if we're on that opposite side of the spectrum and we're mentoring, coaching, leading, then we're looking for people who are like, you just tell me what to do and I'll do it, which is a big part of your process, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So
sorry to interrupt you. A thing that I forgot to say is that these people have an established business. So they've been focusing only on the business, on the growing their business. So now they are lost their lives, and they're, there is something that they're missing, and they are focusing on the leadership side. And something that I also empower them to do is to become Dolce Vita leaders, so that can create a great corporate environment in there, and become Renaissance leader, human-centric leader inside the company, and address the great resignation.
I love it. So 2 things I'm going to provide to you as a quick source of maybe some answers on the lead gen thing. Here's my idea on lead gen, because I went after a similar audience in a unique way, and I got leads for 49 cents. Would that sound good for you if you were able to generate leads for 49 cents? Okay, cool. Of
course.
So I read this book. It's called Rare Breed. Have you heard of that?
No. Can you
I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's these 2 gals, Rare Breed book. I'm just finding it right now on Amazon so I can get it. No, I don't have an affiliate link. It's okay.
No problem.
And it's a phenomenal book. And these gals are incredible. They created 7 different virtues and values around being a rare breed entrepreneur. And the classic way that they explain it is like, you know, in corporate, these people were classically called disruptors, which I was labeled as. So I really identify with this because I actually was one of those people who you'd get fired for the same reason you got hired. Come in here, shake stuff up because we've just gotten too static. We need to do something totally different. You do something totally different. It's the same reason of why you don't advance. And you go like, okay, I'll leave and go somewhere else. Every time I did that, I doubled my income in corporate or the startup world. Every time I left a company and I had powerful results, but they wouldn't give me more opportunity, I doubled it somewhere else. It was so simple. Again, there's no box, right? This book is for the dangerous, the different, and the defiant. And there's a lot of verbiage around these people. So what I did was they have a quiz that you can take. So I was like, well, interesting, because I talked to the founders and they were like, we have 200,000 people on our list. We've never monetized it and we don't know what to do. Can you help us? I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really good problem that a lot of people would love to have. 200,000 people on a list and they have done nothing to actually monetize that. They're a branding agency that works with, you know, they're a Madison Avenue agency that's boutique. So long story short, one of the therapists who I work with, she works with highly gifted, highly sensitive people. So I was like, that's the reason why I worked with her, was not because she was a therapist per se, but because she was a therapist who worked with highly sensitive, highly gifted people. And I knew that that was me because I'm a maverick, right? So she had an assessment that I took that gave you basically a pass, well, we'll call it pass fail, on if you fit a typical profile for someone who's highly gifted. And I took that and it just cemented the idea that, yep, I need help. Because I want to hone in my superpower. I want to be better at what I'm doing. I want to remove the blinders and the things that are holding me back. So I launched a similar quiz and I used a site called involve.me. So it's like a quiz builder. I ran $25 worth of ads on Facebook for one day. And I got over 100 people who went to it and 46 people who filled it out for $25. And I just hyper targeted it to the avatar that I wanted, ran the ads, and it was ridiculous. And they answered 28 questions. And guess all the intel that I get about my core audience now on those 28 questions, who said yes, who said no. So when it's like 97% said yes, all my copy, all my advertising, all my keynotes, I know the exact person I'm talking to, and I know the ratio of how many of them agree that they're like this, so I can read their mind, versus how many of them do not agree. So my lead generation was actually a customer avatar exercise in disguise that worked insanely well. And I knew everything about them. At the end of the quiz, I gave them an opportunity to have a 15-minute call. So that just gives you an idea or a concept, or you could put them into a group or whatever. But that top of funnel for you, I mean, as soon as I choose to turn that back on, I'll probably do about $300 a day, and I'll be generating 150 leads a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you do you mind writing the name of the platform that you use for the quiz again?
Yes. Yep. Involve.me. And then, you know, the test that I created, I had to get authorization from my therapist to use it, just simply because it's her IP. But you can probably go online and find gifted assessments and stuff. Mm-hmm. But my ad was this: are you highly gifted? With an image, and that was it.
Okay.
It wasn't complicated, because people who know that they are, i.e. a rare breed, are the people who want to work with someone who works with rare breeds. Period. End of story. That's it. That's what they're looking for.
Okay. Nick, can I ask you a question? What was the image you used there? What did it look like?
I went on Canva and I typed in a YouTube thumbnail type of template.
Yeah.
And I matched the avatar of like the person who was in the image. So it's like it had a blue and like a dark gray background that had some texture to it. And then on the overlay, I just had an avatar that looked like the person who I was going after based on demographics.
Okay.
And the first one that I launched, I didn't do any classification. I just said, here's their interest. I made a narrow audience and I launched the ad, and it was a gal on it versus a guy. Like I ended up segmenting them,
right.
But it exploded right away. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is why I dig and dig and dig until I find the answer. So yeah, it worked incredibly well. So that's a gift for you guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you connect to the psychographic, that's how I've done over $200 million in sales just online we're not talking products and product management. We're talking just digitally through digital acquisition is connecting to the psychographics of the individual and then remarketing in a really powerful way to build authority. But that's really the ecosystem. But you've got to find something that's really powerful, high consumption, that's really valuable on the top of the funnel. And when the market zigs, you got to zag. So when everybody else is doing lead forms, I'm doing a quiz that they click into. That's a really cool platform. Like, so you just do the opposite of what the market's doing that traditionally has worked before. And I'll end with this. If you want to get more speaking engagements, just message me. I can tell you exactly how to do it. And I know a lot of people who are, I know the guy who ran the Washington Speakers Bureau for 30 years. He's a great friend of mine. He's been a mentor of mine. So again, relationships are rocket ships. This is the whole deal. You're welcome.
Do we know how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so pretty simple. I will put my phone number because I would say email, but if you email me, it'll probably take me a week to see it. And that's just me being honest and transparent.
Christian, thank you so much for this. This has been amazing.
Yeah, Nick, I really appreciate you being on here. And guys, thanks so much. I'm glad you're able to get some value from it, of course.
I'm going to hang out for like another 15 or so for anybody who wants to hang. But there's my phone number. Just text me. And provide me with some context and how I can help. And also, if you want to check out my website, nickcavuoto.com, and then you can also check out joinmentormind.com, because I'm just like one of 12 people in a group who talks about these things. I know all of you could probably really help me a lot. And that's the power of community, is being in the right relationships with the right people who have the authority, the competency, the expertise, of course, who also have the relationships. And that's the big kicker. Like, I had a guy join the mastermind yesterday at Inner Circle. And in the Inner Circle platform, we have a gal who needs a sales trainer for the company Square. If you guys are familiar with Square, Jack Dorsey, also on Twitter a long time ago. So Square needs a sales trainer. She's a mindset and high performance expert. So before he even is coming into the thing, he already has a tee up to go close a multi-six-figure deal through a relationship. That is like literally how the whole world operates. It's through who you know and absolutely who knows you and who you're associated with. And I've just been really lucky to do that by default. I don't even have to try to figure, it's just what happens. And I just go like, hey, I'm great at getting good people together. So if you're interested in doing more stuff like this and getting things solved, we can all help each other. Group economics, right? It's pretty amazing. All right, let's keep rolling. So, Angela, hopefully, was that helpful for you? Okay, cool. And yeah, and message me about.
Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. All right. Let's see. Oh, Phyllis, do you have a question?
I do. Thank you. I'm so sorry to be late. Oh my God, I can't believe I missed the majority of this. But first of all, thank you for that great idea. And so I'm a franchise expert. My new nickname, and you guys don't know this yet, my new nickname is I'm the Franchise Fairy, because it rhymes with franchise.
Alliteration. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I even have a wand. You love this. I have a wand, and I'm going to be having some fun with that, because I just, it's like, how do you stand out, right?
Yes.
So I work in the franchise world, and I'm looking for investors or executives that are in transition. So many people are in transition right now. But my biggest challenge, Nick, is the fact that when people think franchising, they think food. When I did my podcast, that was what my buddy thought too. So, so Christian can relate.
I'll tell you, I'm going to raise my hand really quick, intentionally. I know exactly what you're talking about. One of my best friends as a franchisor, and I know exactly what you mean. And so if you're looking for sales and you're looking for leads, I have an idea for you. I just want you to have that confidence as you're talking through this.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, because I've tried lots of different avenues, and I've tried local, and it just amazes me how it doesn't connect. So yes, if you had some ideas, I would really appreciate that.
Awesome.
I mean, I've been in the industry for 40 years. I've got so much experience to share with people, and I only work with the premium, fabulous brands.
So Christian, if you could drop Steve Brossman's, like his blueprint conversion system or whatever.
I know
link in this
Steve.
as well. You know, Steve, I
Mhm.
think objectivity, because you hit it on the head. You said, I've been doing this for 40 years and I just know this so well. That's actually the gift and the problem.
Yep.
And here's what my friend did. So he runs restoration franchises. He's a
Yes.
franchisor.
Which one? I probably know him.
He ran Bio One, and he just sold
Okay.
Bio One last
Yep.
year, and so now he has Boar, which is best option restoration. Wonderful exits. He really helps people who want to become entrepreneurs be wildly successful.
Yep.
And he brought me in because he said, I've been doing this for 10 years. I doubt that anyone can build a marketing funnel that would actually get me an acquisition that's not from a broker. I just don't think it's possible. And I said, I'm up for the challenge if you want to see. And he's like, well, I could bankroll it. Like, because how much I spend on an acquisition is what your cost would be for 6 months, which is out of control extreme.
It is crazy.
He's like, let's just see what happens. So I just finished building that system. So there's probably some, like, I can share with you some things, some other things I probably should be mindful. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but here's the big idea. Dan Pena, if you know who Dan Pena is, and if you don't, I will apologize in advance because he's incredibly crude. He's incredibly rude, but what you can't deny is the effectiveness of the system that he's built. It's called QLA. And it is a system on basically small biz acquisition where you're sub, 100 million doing acquisitions in every day. It's called salt of the earth and or everyday businesses. He's educating the market right now for you. Do we all know this concept that like sometimes you'll be educated by one person, but by the time you're ready to buy, they're not talking to you anymore. So then you buy from somebody else when they warm them up for 2 years. Okay. That's what's been happening. There's Reddit forums all around QLA, all around his whole process and his whole system. I think Reddit's huge also on the investment side of like people who are doing, I think of like people who are flipping properties, people who are in real estate, people who are investing. Their primary target is financial services. Like take a kid who's hungry and 25. He saved up his whole life because his dad told him it was the right thing to do. And he wants to now do the next thing because he thought financial services was it, but it wasn't. It's just what his dad said he should do. And he played it safe. Now he's rebellious and 25. And so he's ready to take a risk. He has 40, 50K liquid and he's ready to do something big. You're stuck on the idea that they think it's food.
Yep.
James Camilleri, he was one of my early mentors. He's the biggest franchise owner in Burger King. He owns 100 Burger Kings, right?
Yep.
So you probably know James and Sarah. So for them, they went the route of dad owned 1, dad owned 3, split it up between the brothers. He had 1, built it to 4, built it to 12, built it to 100.
Exactly.
That is true entrepreneurship at its finest. Like franchising is true entrepreneurship at the highest level. The idea that you have to get them bought into is getting out of the feast or famine and getting into something that's consistent and proven. I'm buying 4 franchises from Nick, just FYI. 4.
Oh, good for you.
Right? Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, how did I get there? This was the linchpin for me. Franchisors are audited every year by the SEC.
Yep.
They, there's one difference between a franchise and a Ponzi scheme. And that's if the founder is in prison or not. Right? Because it's got to work. And if it works, it's proven and consistent.
That's right.
All these online coaches, online consultants, all these people are trying to make it work in super saturated markets. You're going to have to educate them and bring them in. I would find a way to be a part of communities or whatever. You're not going to find it in people who are interested in franchises. It's the wrong target because those people are already in their own spin. You need to bring the light bulb. When Nick told me this, I mean, I ran a $3 million agency. I built another agency a couple of years later. I didn't sell them and they just kind of fizzled out because I got disinterested. And I had a partner split on one that was really brutal. Had I known to just sell it and reinvest it into a franchise where I could be an investor and I could hire a GM, if I knew that, you know how much more time I would have had with my kids? It would have changed the freaking game for me. So people are primed for salt of the earth, especially with the recession. They're primed for water leaks every day. So there's always going to be opportunity.
Always.
And if the system works and the mentorship is available, that's the big thing. So you need to enroll them into consistent and predictable and look for people who are in massive pain with a lack of predictability in their work. And that's every single online coaching consultant. I still get asked all the time, how the hell do you do 7 figures? You don't even have like a funnel. You don't do whatever. I'm like, because I'm one conversation away from opportunity every day.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
right.
focusing on funnels. I'm focusing on conversations. So that's worked for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of people, and it works for a lot of people too. But the whole funnel game and all of that, it's total bullshit. 5 people a day who are struggling business owners, and ask them the question of, how can I help you? I'd love to meet you, and go through that little diagram from earlier, which is just like, where are you at? What's your dream outcome? Here's the gap. It's clockwork. You've got to show them. Go listen to a bunch of preachers.
I know, right?
I'm dead serious. Because you're not selling them, you're enrolling them into a new reality. And every preacher is a conduit between someone in pain and someone who, or something that can relieve that.
Right.
Jim Carrey
And
said
they
it this
turn it
way,
over. Yep.
Spirituality exists to end suffering. Well, maybe franchises do too, to end entrepreneurial suffering.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
So that's what I would lean into. And then tactically, I would go to every chamber of commerce. You probably already do some of that stuff. Every chamber of commerce. I would join every local group, every online group. I would invest in brand new communities and show up to serve. How can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? Find big communities on Facebook that are like coaching. The 6 to 7 figure coaching consultants are all effed big time. And I know a lot of them. And I know a gal who sells to corporate, teaches consultants how to sell to corporate, and she's down 25% because it's saturated, not because she's the best in the world at what she does. It's because there's so many interesting people who are offering things they can't back up on, that the entire industry is getting sunk. So you've got to show them a different way.
There's like no barrier to entry, right?
There isn't.
Yeah.
But what they all lack is consistency. They all lack the consistent and repeatable. People who invest in relationships will continue to win. The people who are trying tips, tricks, hacks, they are in pain because they do not have a system that works. And you can prove that to them.
So you talked about the quiz that you did, and I have a really good assessment that is, I mean, it's literally designed for the world of franchising. You might be familiar with it. I don't know if your guy used it, but would that, I've had that on my website. It doesn't really do much.
Get out of the box, Phyllis.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to be the franchise fairy.
Exactly. And that's going to work to your benefit. It's like mentally burn the boats on everything that you know about that industry to be true. That doesn't happen until they're already interested in buying in. It's a different buyer. It's the same problem, but it's a different buyer.
So Nick, one of the things that I've been encouraged to do is nobody brings people in through a course, and everybody has their service for free. So instead of being free, I'm going to charge people, and I'm going to have a course that's going to be 2 levels. The first level is, if you don't know anything about franchising, I can take you from soup to nuts, and this course will teach you, and we'll find you the perfect match, but you're going to pay me to do that. Or maybe you found something you really like, but you don't really know how to investigate it and do a good job of making sure it's right for you. And that would be a different level. What do you think of that?
In my opinion, there's a threshold between people who are time rich and money poor, or who are time poor and time rich. Right? So here's the concept. I either have a lot of money and I have no time, or I have a lot of time and I have no money.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, in running what I'm doing and being probably the type of person who I'm literally in the process of investing. I would never take a course ever, because you're going to get crushed on YouTube by someone who's already teaching them the idea. Someone's already indoctrinating them. So it's like, that's already going to happen. So what I would do is piggyback on that and go like, all right, I'm going to run ads to Dan Pena's, whatever, to his search name, or to borrow from his Facebook page or scrape his lists. And then I would be like, hey, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've helped X amount of people do all these things. I'm just here to show up and serve. I'm just interested. I'm interested in learning what you're learning. After COVID, people are so much more open to saying, hey, do you mind if I ask you for feedback? And this is a really good thing for you. If you want money, ask for feedback. If you want feedback, ask for money. because everyone will tell you why they're not going to invest into it. But why don't you learn and become obsessed with learning about where they're at, because you already have the bridge. So find people in pain who aren't in so much pain that they have no options, because then that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, and that's not my audience. I can't.
And there's two people who I see who are in pain. Ones that were very successful, but everything's turning and twisting, so they're freaking out, but they still have resources. Or they're in pain because they're in their, you know, maybe late 20s, early 30s, and they've been building someone else's dream and they're unfulfilled. And you're like, if you want to be a real entrepreneur, like real entrepreneurship happens in the context of franchising. Someone else's system, you build a better brand.
Yep.
So those are my initial thoughts. I personally would never take a course, and I think that the education of the market's already happening. So go join the conversation where the education is already happening, or sideline it and wait for people when they come out of the stadium and they're hungry and you got hot dogs. It's all timing and positioning, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
right.
Well, the good news is that the course is still useful, because I can take people, have them go ahead and take all this information, and it just makes their experience better. So it's not a waste.
Yeah, it's not at all. It's truncating all of your knowledge, which is wonderful. What I'm saying is my first opt-in would not be a course, it'd be a conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. No problem. All right. Dennis, yeah. Do you have I just saw the chat here. If you have a quick question, and then we'll run to Aiden, and then we'll finish up. I got
sorry, it was just...
I have like 9 minutes, so you go ahead.
Okay, I will take up as little as possible so Aidan can have her time. You mentioned earlier when speaking to someone else, so my question was, if you were to build your own community from scratch today, what would you do? Because you did mention earlier that you suggested I should build my own community. So I'm just really interested, how would you approach that if you were tasked with doing something from scratch today? What would your approach be?
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what I did, right? So most people who want to build community want customers. And that's the first misstep, is they're framing community, but they want as customers. So I just realized that I want customers, and I want to put my customers in community. So I kind of flipped it and just retwisted it, the idea. So what I chose to do was I basically went in my phone book, and my coach advised me to do this. At the time, this was a few years ago, but I did the same exact thing when I restarted my mentorship groups. They're peer-based mentorship, and it's kind of like having a board of advisors for your company. But when I decided to do that, I just texted 3 people and said, yo, do you have 15 minutes today? And they were like, sure, bro, whatever you need. Why? Well, because I'm always depositing into the relational equity bank, right? So they call me and they go like, what's up? And I'm like, here's the deal. I know I've had a lot of different ideas in the past, things I wanted to do, but my heart's always been centered on just putting powerful people together. So I have an idea, and I want to get your feedback. I want to put 12 of the best people that I know into a small group so that we can help each other grow our businesses this year. The only caveat is if you're paying for coaching, you have to stop it, or you can double dip and invest if you want. But like, meaning if they're working with a different coach, because I said I want to literally do legacy level shit with these 12 people. And I want you to be invested in their life as much as I'm invested in yours, and as much as they will be invested in yours as well. And I just said, like, that's my vision. And they were like, sweet. Yeah, I think you should do it. Great. It's, $18,000 a year. Are you cool with that? Or do you want to do it biannual, or do you want to do it monthly? Like, at the end of the day, there's still a cost associated, right? They're like, yeah, dude, whatever. I don't care. Just send me a Stripe link. That's how I built community and customers at the same time. For me, if I'm just building community, I would follow Alex Hormozi, and I would literally do everything that he's doing. Which is, he creates content. He comes up front and says, I'm selling you nothing. He gives away his best stuff for free. And he has zero expectation because he doesn't need anyone's money because he has $85 million worth of assets. Now, some people can do the Jedi mind trick and get themselves out of scarcity enough to really give everything away. But I think if you want to build community, you need to have raving fans. And the process of doing that is by being the most valuable, resourceful, useful human being in their life.
Okay, cheers.
I believe in guilt marketing, which there's a great book on it. It's called The Thank You Economy by Gary Vee. Guilt people into buying from you. Help them so much that they're like, well, what the, like, how can I return the favor? It's reciprocal. It's human nature. And the second thing is, Dennis, I would go spend time with powerful people. There's no better way to build your community and do it with the right people than the people who see you and pick you out of the crowd when there's 25 people in the room. And that's what David Meltzer did for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the power of association at that level, that it's divine, because I could have done nothing to force him to want to do that or to create an opportunity that was big enough. And the guy's, $100 million company. You gotta be freaking kidding me. What the heck does he need from me? He wants someone who's going to multiply his vision and someone he believes in, because I'll say it this way. Never get too far from the fire of people who are up to something. There's a long way back to get warm. And when people are up to something, it's just a huge catalyst, man.
Excellent. Thank you.
The last thing I'll mention, and then I'll jump to the last people here. If you want to truly understand how to do that in a way where you can also monetize it by being an expert and a facilitator, which I know you'd be really great at, you need to join a mastermind, and one that's more vibe tribe of like, you connect with the people. It's more about like the chemistry than the outcome. The outcome for me, it's ridiculous. I mean, I have a guy who would just, people double, triple, quadruple, 10x. It's insane. I don't even talk about it because it's so absurd that most people wouldn't believe it. But the one thing and the reason why people stick in my groups is because it's the right people. It's the right chemistry equation of the people. So find the top 3 people that you know, invite them into a community. Even if you say it's $500 a month for the year, make it super simple for them to say yes. And then they enroll, and then you're like, awesome. Now we need 12 total. So can you guys all help me? Is there one person that you know who we could all learn from? Boom, 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 boom. $6,000 a month in revenue at $500 each at 12 people. Run it twice a month for 60 minutes. You're working 2 hours a month. You're making $6,000 a month. So
thank you.
If that's something you want to do, just let me know. I could figure it out for you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'd like to. I mean, I'm in London, but I will send you.
Just hit me up, dude. Just text me, whatever. Find me somewhere, message me. But if you got iMessage, just hit me up. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please,
all right.
Please take the person who's waiting. Thank you.
Much love. You're welcome. Aiden, go ahead. All right. I'm going to keep pushing it. I got 5. Then I have a call with David actually at 1:30. So I'll have to jump at that point. But
Hi, great. Thank you, Nick and Christian. It's been great. So I'll just keep it short, and I'll probably follow up as well after. So a little bit about me. My name is Aiden Eob. I'm the clinical neuroscientist and author of the book, Mind Training, The Secret of Positive Living. I'm also the founder and CEO of My Medication, which is a mindset consultancy that can supercharge your executive team. So I work with CEOs, helping them with the strategic alignment of their mindset, their communication, and goals to accelerate business growth. I previously used to have a background in pharmaceuticals, so lots of business experience in that. And I've moved the business, My Medication, sort of from a B2C to a B2B model, and where the challenge right now is sort of like the messaging and getting in front of the right corporations, startups. So I'm due to speak on a startup expo this weekend, but I'm sort of challenged in the way of like, what is the community that I need to be in, as well as how do I get in front of this audience in the path of least resistance. And the other thing is I'm also building a social enterprise called AfroMind, which really is providing healthcare solutions for mental, neurological, and substance abuse in the continent of Africa. And so where I'm challenged there is sort of getting connected with board level people, so board of directors, advisors who can, who come in sort of from the healthcare angle, but also investing, and also just getting that clarity of, do I just register it as a social enterprise that's nonprofit or for profit, and what, the pros and cons are and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a lot, but probably the business is probably the priority in this case.
Awesome. It's incredible what you're doing, first of all. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I always say, people who are up to something, it's undeniable. You just know it right away. I think the clarity is really powerful. My burning question is why? Because you don't have that audacious of a goal without significant why. And I know that comes from pain. So
a lot.
I'm very curious about that, which we can talk offline about, and I can learn more about
Absolutely.
what you're up to. My other burning question for you is, how many people in that space, like let me just ask the question. Who's the number one person and or grouping of people that you need in order to accomplish your vision? Who's the number one? Like if you had a room of 1,000 of these people, who would they be? Very simply.
Oh, well, in terms of clients or in terms of like mentors and so forth, or a combination?
I think it's a combination, because I'm trying to isolate it, because actually your vision and your business will attract the same person, and you'll be able to double dip in those relationships. And that's why this part's important. So if I had a room of 1,000 people, who is it?
So I probably need mentors who have at least 10 to 15 years of experience. One, working within the health tech, ed tech in space, but also I want to be surrounded with sort of like innovators, because I want to do something that's different within the healthcare sector. So mentors, but also investors. And I guess the others, it's a good question. I really do have to think about it. But with the social enterprise, it's really about bringing sort of a diverse team. So I really would like to be surrounded with people that sort of have an entrepreneurial spirit, but come in with a different take on the idea. So it really becomes like sort of a breakthrough product. But I think primarily it's mentors and people who bring me money.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. If I could give you anything right now, what would you need in order to accomplish your goal? It's gas in the car. It's money. So how many investors have you developed a relationship with, called, or texted today?
Right now, honestly, none, because we just started it less than a year ago. I have some conversations, but I wouldn't say they're strong enough to call it like, okay, give me your money now.
I'm glad it's not
we're
ready
not there.
Yet.
Okay.
And here's why. Your pitch is great. Like I just was on 2 Minute Drill with David. I mean, we invest in a company for every single episode. So your pitch is great. The reality is, what do you want and how are you going to use it? That's all they want to know. If they're bought into you, that's easy. And that's an emotive decision, because they have to make it in 2 minutes. So if they're bought into you, awesome. Now the next question is, what do you need and how can I help you? And what are you going to do with it? And if you can make that clear, then great. So here's the push and pull. I would literally use a LinkedIn automation system, and Christian probably can help you with this. Use a LinkedIn automation system, and I would literally get the classification of like whoever you want to reach out to. Maybe it's CEOs of companies with more than 10,000 employees. Let the numbers be the numbers. Guess what? 1 out of 3 people are going to say yes, and 97 will say no. Okay. And all you have to do is basically say, hey, I'm working on a big idea. Here's a really quick explanation. You got to get this in like a tweet, basically. Like it's got to be like 250 characters or something. But just ask, wow, from someone like you, like if I could, just get some feedback from you on a new big idea or a social campaign that I'm working on, whatever. Just ask. All you need to do is get in front of them, and you're going to start that relationship, and then you invest in it. 75 messages a day on LinkedIn to the most prominent people in the world and or the people who will be most aligned with you, and aim for the top, aim high. It's always easier to come down if you're aiming high, but aim high. Like you better reach out to the CEO of Nike. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you have the capacity to do that. And if you don't aim high, you're not going to change the world in the way that you can. So now you're 80 and you got to meet your future self and go, dang it. Like had I just made a more audacious ask, if I just developed those proper relationships, we know like closed mouth doesn't get fed. So ask for feedback because you don't have it fully baked. And guess what? By them helping you, they're already subconsciously attaching the idea to be a partner for you. And I would literally I would be obsessed about that. Just getting feedback from as many investors, CEO, hedge fund managers, anybody who's got deep pockets and cares about humanity. If they don't care, they won't jive with you. And just make audacious asks, make it really, really clear, and ask them for feedback. They'll buy in by helping you. Okay.
Amazing.
And you're incredibly likable. So it's going to be easy for them to go like, well, now what? Just don't make the ask too early. It's just like relationships. Like, we don't go in for the kill right away. Like, that's not if you want to get married. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference, right? And so play the marriage game, play the long game with them, play the, like, I'm just here. I'm just asking questions. They'll really value that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
100 a day, 100. You want to get to where you want to go, you have to make 100 contacts a day. 75% of them can come through LinkedIn requests. So then you got 25 left. Okay.
And with the 25, what are the best places to make those connections?
Anywhere. I would start with your phone book, and I would like literally start at A, and I would call the person and say, hey, do you know anybody who is this type of person? Or who knows someone who's this type of person? Because I'm on mission. Being on mission is undeniable. Momentum will cure 80% of all of this for you. You'll have more money than you know what to do with. You're going to have a different problem, but you got to put your feet to action and get audacious. Absolutely out of this world convicted. Conviction closes 90% of opportunities and deals. 90%. Nothing else. It's just tonality and how we talk about it, how much we believe in it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you guys. Incredible. I do have to run. I'm a minute
Thank
late
you so
to my
much.
next call.
Nick,
You guys,
thanks
Thank you so much.
I
Really appreciate it.
You guys are welcome. This was a ton of fun. Big love to each of you. We'll see you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.